Thanks everyone for joining us on time for today's webinar, where we've got two special guests who are our current PGPM students. They are currently undergoing the rigorous accelerated management program with all of us as a part of the PGPM batch. I will, of course, let both of you introduce yourselves. I'm joined with our personal beloved and favorite Amagya Sinha, as well as Saksham Sharma. Saksham is also smiling. So over to both of you to quickly contextualize this discussion. I'd urge both of you to introduce yourselves. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about who you are, so that our audience is very clear about whom are they going to be interacting in today's webinar. So over to both of you.
Ladies first, Amika.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. So I'm Amika Sinha. I have done my graduation from Vanasthali Vidyapeeth, and then I was working in a software company. So I was working in operations management. And after then, I took a few years of gap, and then I started preparing for an MBA. And soil was my first preference because of certain things which soil has as USP. And I started with soil in 2023 May. I was into analytics cohort because I wanted to dwell into data science and analytics. And so far, so good. I have been having a lot of good experience over here, a lot of learning things. And I have experienced a lot of peer learning over here, which was my priority while joining. So over to you, Saksham.
Thank you, Amika. So, yeah, coming to me, my name is Satyam Sharma, and you already seeing it, and I'm from Delhi, and I have around 3 years of experience, and I've done sales in my past experience. I worked in two companies. After that, I started preparing for, just like Amika started preparing for CAT. After that, I got to know about the soil, about the college, and about the 1 year program. So I got enrolled on May 2023. Currently, I'm pursuing marketing as my majors, and my minor is finance. So yeah, that's all about me.
That's interesting. So Amakya, are you also from Delhi itself, like Saksham, or no? You're not from Delhi.
No, actually, I'm not from Delhi. I have studied from, like, I am from Ranchi, Jharkhand. And then I was doing my graduation from Rajasthan. I was working in Gurgaon, and now I'm studying in Gurgaon.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Now, a couple of things, and of course, I urge all the participants to please put your questions in the Q&A section. Any question that you're having with regards to the student experience, life, any stress that's there. But interesting, both of you said, like Saksham said, that he started preparing for his CAT exam. So if we just rewind and go, say, last year at the same time, I'm sure it's easier said than done right now. Probably you're not even realizing the importance of a CAT score. And I know both of you are really excited because you're also about to start your professional journeys very soon. So just tell us a little bit. Let's rewind. Let's look at last year. How was it last year for you? Were you still getting worried about the various sort of entrances that you had to write? What was your preparation strategy? What was the schedule looking like? Were you swamped with books like the quantitative aptitude, the logical reasoning, the verbal ability? So what was a typical day looking like up until last year for the both of you?
So I would start, then Saksham can join. Okay. So I would say, first of all, gratitude for whatever today I have. Secondly, what it looked like a year before. Of course, CAT requires a lot of hard labor, hard work, and efforts. And when you are working, it is little difficult, to put in so much of efforts. Also, since you have taken a gap of working experience, you know that it is a little bit difficult for you to rewind to those studies and curriculum. So everything was on the mind, like, yes, it was like how I would accelerate my career growth, what is going to happen, which college would I be joining, and then again 2 years. So that was a difficult question, like you are working and then you are again going to switch for 2 years, you're going to study for 2 years. So will that be a good investment with respect to my time and efforts? So all these questions were there, of course, and I understand that each and every student who must be preparing today, as of today, would be having the same and the similar contexts and similar questions in their mind. Having said that, of course, this is a difficult phase where you need to understand that what is your priority. and accordingly you urge for the decision. So that was how my a year before looked like.
Yeah, rightly said by Amelia. But coming to me, if I can, tell about my day a year back. So as I told you that I was working so 9 to 5, 9 to 6 sometimes. So I used to work, and after that I used to prepare for my exam. Right after, so I still remember I took an online coaching, and it used to be from 9 to 11 in the night. After the hectic schedule of working the whole day, I used to study 9 to 11. And sometimes I used to think that why I'm doing this. I have a job. I'll promote here only. So what's the purpose of doing an MBA, and from doing an MBA after giving CAT? So, but I still, coming to CAT, I got myself motivated. I used to motivate myself to know that getting into a college was should not be your approach while studying for CAT or while studying for MBA. I think it should be about developing your skills, developing your analytical skills. So that's how my day used to go. And yeah, that's all.
Absolutely. It's really nice to hear that both of you are working. So it's a little better off because you're not that stressed about your overall score. But there are a lot of people who are like, they're worried about the gap year. So luckily both of you did not have that. Now Zoom like just coming back now, zooming out and then coming back and looking at your so-called journey over here in the PGPM batch altogether. We've seen both of you grow leaps and bounds. I'm sure like professors like ANB sir, Nitika Batra ma'am, Arjaya ma'am, they'll all like, speak volumes and they can probably write a entire sort of thesis about, the way that both of you have blossomed altogether. So just tell us about, it is of course very rigorous because it's 1 year program. It's like a capsule MBA. Everything already gets like completely condensed and the sense is being taught to you. You've already figured out your specialization. So of course it was hectic, right? I'm sure I've heard every time that okay, ANB sir will give those assignments at midnight and expect you to be prepared the next day. So planning, scheduling, making sure that all of you are able to deliver. So how has this 1 year been so far? This entire journey, if you'll have to sum up the entire learning experience, besides using terms like hectic, how would you how would you basically encapsulate this entire journey, both of you?
Okay, so I won't say it was difficult, okay, because we have so many activities lined up that we don't get so much of stress. Of course, the schedule would be tight because it's a 1 year PGPM course. So you are studying all those 2 years things in 1 year. So you have that, of course, you have that load by you. But again, there are certain activities assimilated with that so that you don't feel so much of stress. Okay, and because you mentioned ANB sir, Arja ma'am, Nitika Batra ma'am, all are phenomenal teachers, and they not only tell you what you have to understand and learn, they will be there with you in your personal life also. They'll help you, guide you wherever you are stuck. They will always guide you. Okay, so it was amazing, I would say, the SIP work which we did, or the conferences we attended, or the group activities we do, or the club activities do we do. So these things keep us very much into our activities also, and they let us breathe also. So it's not only you study, you get a lot of interactions, you get a lot of practical exposure where you are not that bookworms, you are practically implementing those things. So I think this is the USP of PGPM, that you get a lot of industry connects. You know that what you have to dwell into. You understand how things actually work in business perspective. So I would say it was no doubt hectic, rigorous, a roller coaster ride. But again, you have a lot of friends over here. You have a lot of activities lined up. You have n number of curriculum to keep you engaged. So it was amazing. It was very nice experience, I would say.
And I think Media mentioned that there. I think in this college, one thing that I've noticed is they make you industry ready. And I think if beside this rigorous and hectic schedule, they make us industry ready because as a manager, I think you should be able to handle the pressures. when you go working and something like that. So I think they're making us more prepared for what we are going to do after 1 year.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think beautifully summed up by both of you that, it's very immersive, it's very hands-on, and there's less stress on the theoretical aspects altogether and more stress on making sure that, you're able to do it and deliver it. And imagine, like, reaching out and coming back where you, getting individual attention. So, a person who's worked, say, for instance, for 3 decades at HCL, you can actually just reach out to them on the third floor, Salman sir, I'm talking about, right? Take mentorship, take guidance, or reach out to people and approach. So yes, of course, that individual attention that you get, or that personalized touch that is always there, it just looks like a family only, I think, eventually after you're there for another month. Now, tell us a little bit, because Amikya also talked about, and Saksham, you also stressed about peer learning. We've got a blend of both academic and non-academic clubs and societies at the PGPM campus. So tell us a little bit about, first of all, your experiences, both of you, which all societies were you a part of? Amigya, of course, I'm really excited to hear that because I know her experience. But yes, Saksham, we'd love to hear your bit also, and Amigya's also. So just tell us about, what does the typical student life, student experience look like when you're here? Because of course there is a lot of academic load. There's also these industry sessions. There are these so-called other hackathons and other things that are going on. So amidst all of that, you also have a robust student life. So tell us a little bit about that. Let's dig in, at that area.
So, okay, so coming to the co-curriculars, we can call them co-curriculars. So coming to co-curriculars, I think what I would like to mention first is, so there's a student council in PGPM. So we are and fortunately I'm a part of student council here. So, you know, we get elected first of all by students only. So we look over the all the co-curriculars that are happening here. After that, we have Shifa Verma with us. So she is the student experience manager who takes care of all the activities and co-curriculars that happens here. Third, we have various clubs here. So under each council members, we take care of few clubs. So coming to me, then, like, I have marketing, consulting, and sustainability club under me. So we have various club heads and various club subheads. So that takes care of whole of the experiences that students do here. After that, recently, as you mentioned about the hackathon and also recently we hosted Noise with us. So Noise came and they gave us a problem statement, about branding and all. So these are few things. This is just about it. So these are the few things that happens here, and that makes first of all industry ready, and there it's about the holistic growth of an individual. It's not about just being a bookworm and all. So what you learn, you apply there. Amika, if you to add something on that.
Yeah, yeah. So soil will give you a lot of opportunities to be a leader. Okay, like Saksham comes from a student council, representing student council. I come from a placement committee. So, having said that, placement committee has a rigorous role to play because that is the destination where you are aiming for. And with that, we have a lot of clubs assigned, whether it is entrepreneurship club, whether it is social work club, or even mental health club. It's not that we again don't emphasize only on the only on the academics, but it's also students' health which is taken care of. So, if I talk about my experience, I would see I have seen ruffles going on because at all the levels, people are trying to compete with a good and positive energy, which is the best thing. So, like soil is very popular for its values. So, having those compassion in themselves and people from different diverse background and then acknowledging their leadership skills into each of the pathways gives them tremendous experience and exposure that is a must before any industry connect.
Absolutely. And that's the reason at the beginning I'd said, like, I prefaced our beloved Amigya, because she helps us every now and then with almost, like, all the work which is there in the placement committee. Tell us a little bit more, about, of course, you people have dissected, you've told us about the student experience, the academic, the co-curriculars that are there. And it's really interesting, like Saksham said, that, he's heading the consulting club, the sustainability club, the marketing club. So hybrid mix of both academic and non-academic activities coming in. But when we talk about, a lot of times, like Amagya said, that, the placements is the go-to destination that everybody is wanting to reach at, right? Both of you are placed, and you still see, as we are speaking, of course, those good news of people getting placed at Everest Group yesterday, CAMS, two people getting through. So obviously, it's of course, you feel very happy when those results come out, but those results are, a outcome of a series of preparations that you've probably put in. Also, waiting for the right opportunity. It's easier said than done. Patience is something which you can't really have. So first of all, tell us a little bit about your journey, Amikya, your placement, at Accenture. Saksham, you also please share your journey of your placement. How did you prepare for it? How were you aiming at those placement opportunities? And both of you did a phenomenal job also. And how do you coach and mentor your co-peers? Amikya, you will be having a structured buddy group altogether. And Saksham, you also, because you're heading the cultural society. And like you said that, as Shakespeare says, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. So you were elected by the people itself. So you got an additional burden. So just help us understand, how did you people prepare, and how do you people prepare right now your peers who are yet to, get those offers? So first about your journey, and then how do you prepare them?
Okay, Amika, I'll start. So just I want to say one thing, that Rome was not built in a day, right? So placement is an outcome, like Neelam, you said rightly. Placement is an outcome. So we have to prepare from day one. And I think many of us realized the day we entered in the college, because you know among us there was huge competition when we entered. So we realized this thing, that we have to give our 200% if you want to get, because you have to add value to the employer that is giving you employment, right? After that, coming to my personal journey, if I would say so, yeah, it was not easy, first of all. Second of all, your concepts needs to be clear. So coming to me, my cohort is marketing, and I got placed in a role that is very aligned to marketing only. So your concepts needs to be clear. You should be able to make the interview understand that you have a structured approach. Second, and it does not depend on what cohort you have. Even if you are from HR, you need to make the interview understand that you have a structured approach about the business. You should need to know the business first. Third, communication is the key. So you need to, first of all, you should be able to communicate what your thoughts are. Many of time what happens, you know the answer, but you do not know how to communicate it. So communication is the key, structured approach, and knowledge of business. I think these were the three things that helped me to get placed.
Oh, thank you, Saksham. Well, I will agree with Saksham on each and every point, whatever he said, and those three things. So when you land up to soil from the interaction of Shobhesh sir, Akansha ma'am, and then to all the faculties, including A&B sir, Das sir, Arja ma'am, you will have a very good atmosphere around you. So you know what are the steps you have to work upon. Okay. And secondly, you have so many things going on. You have mentorship program where there is an external as well as internal mentor who will guide you all across. So apart from these things, you have placement committee which is there to help you prepare everything. I still remember Nija ma'am coming and teaching us different ways of solving problems. Uh, so we have this whole structured curriculum for each and every preparation, whether it's placement, whether it's your academics, everywhere. And of course, that does not comes in one day. Of course, there is a continuous practice. You have to be self-disciplined a little. And one most important thing is, if you listen to the faculties very nicely, you will be able to achieve that. So if I talk about my placement in Accenture, I'll not go deep into it. Some other day I would definitely share that. But the inputs which were there beside me or behind me was, of course, CMS team with the help of Prateek Saxena sir. I can't thank him enough. And of course, Salman sir, Neerja ma'am, Nancy ma'am, everybody were the pillars. So we not only knew how to correct our resume, how to appear for GD, how to talk in a personal interview, but we also had the responsibility to cater to our buddies, which were assigned. So having said that, going through all these buddies and respective notions and their varied work experience, you get lot of experience and knowledge. And I would definitely say that if you are a placecom buddy, or if you are part of placement committee, you are definitely going to land up in a very wonderful job, because you get a lot of experience when you handle everybody's resume, when you go through the interaction about their industry connect, about their work experience. And not only that, the peer over here, if you come across, if you come to see the diverse culture and the people demographics of the students, you will be amazed to see that people from 7 years of experience to freshers all are studying in the same class. So just understand the audacity of the knowledge and the plethora of knowledge which is flowing in and out.
Exactly. So, Megha, you mentioned, actually, I forgot to mention about the internal and external mentorship program. So, I think it is one of the best things that this institute offers you. And a big shout out to both of my mentors. I think they are the reasons that, not just placement, but building an overall individual. And secondly, Ambika, you mentioned about the CMS team, and I think can, we can never forget the sessions that were taken by Neerja ma'am, those LinkedIn building sessions and those resume building sessions. So they really help a lot. They are not confined till placement, but, uh, forward as well. So thank you so much, ma'am. And yeah, internal mentorship program is something that, it's very much value adding in students' life.
I'm a little embarrassed, and it looks like, I've bribed all of you to to say that name, and I feel guilty. That's what we were discussing with Gurveer sir, that, for the next batch, we should definitely make sure that, 1:30 to 2:30 should be mandatory for career development, and May, June, when you people enter, is actually a little lean at this campus as well. So hopefully, definitely, for the next batch, the engagement will be actually justified, in terms of career development from my end. But that's very sweet and kind of both of you. There's a question by Akanksha Jaiswal. Before we go ahead, it'll be great if you both can answer that. What were the things that you actually learned with Noise, the so-called hackathon that you people had? So if you could just elaborate a little bit. We saw beautiful LinkedIn posts coming out of all of your accounts, and you people had a stellar experience there. But it'll be great if both of you can share that.
Yeah, so okay, so this is an event that we recently hosted that, and fortunately, my group was the one who won that. So I'll tell my learnings out of that. So first of all, what we learned was, so just to give you a gist of that, they gave us a problem, and they wanted us to come up with some strategy to, help noise to do something. So I won't be going into the details of that. So the thing that I learned from that was, instead of result, like, you should focus more on process. So you should focus more on the problem, that why that problem is happening. Instead of, giving out the results, you should focus on why this particular thing is happening. And, you will get answer in that only. You need not to go into, you need not to go to the people and ask them how, like many of us were running to the faculty, sir, what would be the solution for that. I think the so for judging that, we had the CMO of Noise himself. So he came to judge that. So he also said that, instead of focusing on a solution, focus more on the problem. So this is the one thing that I learned from that. And yeah, our group was the one who won that. So this is my learning from that event.
Congratulations, Saksham, for that winning thing. Na? Actually, I wasn't the part of Noise, but again, I was there as an audience. It was very interactive, it was very rigorous, and it was at a competitive edge. So, if I talk about this marketing noise competition or other competitions which are going on for finance or for analytics, so they are so much industry driven that they give you that analytical thinking, which you are not actually doing when you are in the class. So you get those business perspective right, you get those analytical thinking style at place, and then you are able to think more. And now that then you understand that you are into the shoes of a manager or a business professional, and then you are taking those decisions. So that is having an impactful vision on it.
Absolutely correct. That's true. There are a couple of these questions. So here for the PGPM, for PGDM, of course, you require a test score, but for the PGPM program, and of course we'll take both their perspectives also. This year, as of now, we have our own internal test that you have to give. That is your stat exam, and there's an entire well curated interview experience that you're having. So you don't really need a test score, but a test score will give you an edge for sure to your overall profile. But for the PGPM program, we are all MBA test agnostic. It's a profile based selection process that we have, because we really, like all of them mentioned, that we want the peer learning experience to be given to all our students. So that is paid a lot of premium. Would both of you also maybe like to summarize that difference of the fact that for the PGPM we do not have the test score. For PGDM, of course, we have like a cutoff in the test scores, but for PGPM we do not really believe. We believe that your profiling is really important. What are your views on that?
I would say that yes, you have 2, 3 processes for soils PGPM course, where your other exams marks are not taken into consideration that much, but there is a stat, there is GD, there is a case study solution, there's one life map exercise, there's personal interview, and you go through all these processes uh, in a very professional manner, because PGPM students have work experience in their prior background. That becomes easy for them to understand that what path they want to choose in the future, like what kind of career they are looking for, because they have already been through working culture. And I would say soils process is not only very unique, but it also gives you a lot of exposure on leadership, to how to develop leadership, because that is not some other colleges giving. Also, where everywhere people are looking at your scores, soil actually looks at you, that how you describe yourself, your experience, and what are your aims. So here score would be a secondary thing to be seen, but again, if you have that contemplation of study, of getting into better role, you will of course find your way at here. That's all.
Yes. So
Sakshi, would
yeah,
you
I
like to
agree with
add?
the yeah, I totally agree with the Nitya, because the main thing with the students of PGPM is that we have a prior experience. We have been in the shoes of executive or something like that. So we have an added advantage that we have been in the industry. So after that, the admission process is like, they want to know about your purpose. First of all, purpose, that why do you want to do an MBA? Why do you want to do a 1 year MBA, to be more specific? Secondly, would you be able to, it's not about, yeah, everybody is here to learn, no, but still the mindset of the person varies. So I think the whole process is designed in such a way that even if you do not have any CAT score or something like that, but they will know whether you will be able to get through or not. So the whole process is designed such a way.
Right. Sakshi, before this question about cutoffs came, even last time when we were hosting, your colleagues, Dhruvi was there, Shishra was there, Arushi and Harsh were there. And I remember Shishra talking about it, I guess, when she said that, during her interview, she was actually reaching out to her external mentor and just asking that, I'm getting butterflies on my stomach. I am having a panic attack altogether. Please help me out. So you also highlighted, right, that the one of the most important thing that you get is like, an external mentor. Of course, the internal mentors are always there. And like I said, I personally, I think in the last year, I've learned so much from all of them. Das sir, ANB sir, Salman sir, right? Gurveer sir now to add to Nitika ma'am and everyone who's there, right? And of course, our visiting faculties who keep on coming and adding value to your overall profile. But having said that, that external solid mentorship program that is given to you here at Soil, can you just help us, of course, understand that? And also, as a learning, we also want you to remember that, always having a mentor, making sure that you have somebody that you can reach out to, and constantly being in touch, nurturing that bond altogether, taking somebody as a sort of a mentor for your life altogether, like that North Star who's going to be helping you, guide through your career. About the external mentorship program that you have here at Soil, and how did that help? And it was really interesting that, I think the way that it's done at the PGPM campuses is way better, that even we have to emulate that a lot, many times, right? So just help us understand that, that entire mentorship program, please, and what were your key learnings from that entire program?
Okay, so yeah, there are two membership programs. One is internal, just to clarify, one is internal where we are assigned with an internal mentor that is mostly a faculty or a person who is associated with the college. And second is an external mentorship program where we are assigned an industry expert or an industry leader as an external mentor. So coming to me, I have a privilege to be a mentee of a vice president of legal of Max Life Insurance. So me and one of my classmates, we both are his mentee. So he invites us to his office. So we had around 3 meetings. So 2 meetings we went to his office after his working hours. So he invited us. But in the first meeting, he asked what our background is. So he said, don't be that much formal with me. So it's just a normal casual conversation in the first meeting. So he gave some of the insights like what are the things that would help you to grow in your career. We should consider that he's coming from around 30 years of experience. So it matters a lot. And we are just about to start our career. So he's been in that phase and he knows that what are the things that a student goes through during this process, during MBA when placements are, around the corner. So he gives insights according to that. He considers that yeah, this person is already this person might be in an pressure situation. So how to handle that? Second, during placements when in initially one or two interviews, I also had butterflies in my stomach. So I used to call them, like sir, I'm preparing for this. So he used to give me few, like I mentioned, the structured approach, how you should research about the company, what are the key points. If this is the role, this is how you should prepare. So I think this is one of the, like I mentioned, this is one of the most important thing that a college can offer, and I don't think any other college is offering such external mentorship or any mentorship program. So these are my key learnings, and I think my external mentor as well. I gave the shout out. So I think they are not just confined in college. I think they are my mentors for rest of my life.
Amagya, anything that you'd like to
Absolutely
share?
right. Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with Saksham. Even I have my external mentor, with whom I have to connect virtually because he is located in Bangalore. But again, he is director consultant in Deloitte. Yet he has every time to acknowledge me, to answer my queries, to make me understand what is the point I am lacking and what is the actual industry standard. So again, this wouldn't have been possible if I would not have been in soil. So this is a leveraging point. Secondly, I would say that when you come to soil, you will create your soil family. I still can't forget that when I was going into my interview, I still remember Saksham and Harsh being by my sides. Okay, and of course my roommate. So you will create your people. You will get a lot of people over here, and again, it would be an life lifelong relationships you are going to build, whether it's with faculties or mentors or the students over here.
Absolutely correct. Swarnim, the programs for fresher, PGTM is of course a complete program where a lot of freshers apply. Whereas even for PGPM, we've got the PGPM HR program, where Swarnim, if you're able to showcase any sort of proclivity towards human resources, then of course you can bag a seat. I hope that answers the question. Now, there's a very interesting question by Arpitesh Srivastav, and I want both of you to also give, your answers on this. There are companies coming for product management on campus when we talk about the PGPM program? And if yes, what kind of roles are offered? And just to give a context, I think your colleagues gave the Benipic process also very recently, which was, for both APM roles. So Arpitesh, your associate product management roles and product management roles, they do come every now and then. But over to both of you, like what kind of training do you get for these kind of roles, the PM roles, both product and project management? What kind of support or training do you get? And there's a very illustrious alum, I don't know if you followed him, Rakesh Kamath. He's a senior product manager at Publicis Sapient. Rather, yesterday only we had an online session with him as well. He keeps on helping us every now and then. And I remember when he came to the PGPM campus, he did that product tear down with all of you, asking you those questions all together, and just walking you through a couple of nuts and bolts on product management. But still, over to both of you, considering you experience the campus life hands on. So tell us a little bit about the product management training roles, what kind of support you get to, build and nurture yourself in product management.
So yeah, as we mentioned, product management roles do come in the on the campus, and recently we had benefit. So coming to preparations, I still remember that whenever a company, whenever a role like product manager or role related to consulting comes, I always see a mail coming from the faculty like, if you have any doubts regarding the JD or something like that, please come to us. We'll clear it out. We will clear it out. Secondly, I saw that recently a role of finance came, and our dean Gurveer sir uh, himself mailed the students that we are having a session on that to make them prepare for the role. So I think coming from the faculty, like despite having a busy schedule, so they make sure that there are no stones unturned, first of all. And secondly, yeah, we have all these such kind of roles coming to the campus, and I think our CMS team and all the faculty members are there to really guide and make us prepare about the same.
Yeah, and just to add on, we have a separate course on project management, which is taught by Ankush Chopra sir. So phenomenal subject, totally practical. You will be volunteering in different cases, case studies, where you will be able to test your project management skills and acumen. So that would revolve around a whole lot of project management. And again, we have one more subject called product and price, where you will be designing a product, you will be pitching for it, you will be creating a lot of fuss about it, and you will be studying it thoroughly. So the roles are, of course, here, whether it's Benepic or some other, like Saksham said. And apart from that, you will get a lot of acumen from the academic point of view too. So I think it would be covered in your whole journey.
Correct, absolutely right. Now, there's a very interesting question. And of course, Arpitesh, the batch size typically is 115 to 120 for the PGPM. And that's how we've been able to make sure that, everybody gets individual attention. Now, Shubham is asking this question that, we've spoken about profile-based selection. So what do you essentially mean by, profile? So it'll be great if both of you can deconstruct that. What is this profile? So I can totally correlate, right? Because everybody tells profile-based selection. You need to have a good profile if you want to get into, any good B school altogether. But what is this profile? If both of you, and I hope you have proper knowledge of this, like what is the perception when somebody says that you need to have a good profile?
Okay, so I would start here. Okay, so profiling, that does not mean you have to have a very amazing profile. That does not mean. But again, soil accepts variety of profile. So if I talk about our demographics of our batch, we have bankers, we have doctors, we have engineers. Okay, so we have people from different background. So when I talk about profile, it is about the work experience you have been through. It's also about the academics. How, if it might be possible that you might have done 2 to 3 post graduation, and now this is your final attempt for MBA or PGPM. That could be also the case. So people over here are from hotel management, tourism department. So that kind of profile we are talking about. And see, if you have that thirst for business related industry, or you want to move into management consultancy, nobody can stop you. The profiling of soil says that if you have that quench for it, you can of course dwell into it. And I think Saksham would be the right person to add more into it.
I think coming to profiling, they first of all they see the what the attitude a person is carrying, the mindset of the person is whether he or she would be able to cope up with the accelerated force or not. Yeah. So second thing that I would like to add is, like Amika said, that we have students from different backgrounds. So the background that you comes from doesn't define what you want to do in the future, right? So I can give you an example. We have one of my very good friends. She is from a healthcare background, and not just healthcare. She was working with a super specialty hospital as a clinician, and here she is pursuing marketing. So this, I think, while shortlisting the profile, they didn't see what was her past experience, but what mindset she was carrying, what is her purpose, and whether she would be able to cope up with the course or not. So I think you can imagine what the profiling would mean. So it is basically the mindset is basically about the purpose of the person and whether he or she would be able to cope up uh, with the whole course or not.
Right, that's true. That's true. Like, that they're trying to gauge both whether you're going to be a good fitment over here, you'll be able to manage. And I think that also links back to Arpitesh's question. So Arpitesh had written like a really elongated question saying that, the sense was that in a 2-year program, you do get an opportunity to build your profile, but in 1 year accelerated MBA, there are of course these doubts that people have. But the robust student life that you have gives you the opportunities to actually upskill yourself. And 1 year technically is actually more than enough to get attuned to that. Now there's a very interesting question around your overall you people have talked about peer learning, the hostel life. So of course both the campuses at Soil, we do not really give you like a mandatory hostel, but we ideally recommend you that you should be staying close to the campuses to just make sure that you accentuate your learning. So tell us a little bit, and I see Amakya for the first time smiling when I'm asking this question regarding your hostel, and Saksham is also following. So how was the hostel experience like? How was it like? Because obviously it's a home away from home. You're away from your families altogether. Even though both of you were working, so it wasn't that different for both of you, right? But just tell us, and you particularly, Sector 44, Gurgaon. It's literally nestled in the middle of the Gurgaon hub altogether that we're talking about. So how was life overall? Was there some sort of enjoyment also? And I'm sure nice Gurveer sir is not here because he'll definitely, if I say whether there was enjoyment or not, he will say like definitely Neerja there was something happening. But tell us, how did you people bond at hostel? How was the hostel life like? How did you get moments to enjoy? How was the entire experience at that end also?
Okay, so I'll start since you said I will start. So it's amazing. You are not going to miss on anything. You will feel that yes, it's a rigorous course and you will enroll and you will lose all those enjoyment points, but you won't. You will make it. And it would happen like the weekends would be there and you'll have lot of enjoyment, lot of enjoyment. The whole process is amazing. See, if you are on the other side, you will see at a academic journey. But since we are dwelling into it, we know it's full of enjoyment. When you start mingling up when the course starts to when you are leaving, I still remember there are two students from our batch who are called on an immediate basis for joining, and they are leaving within a week. So they are very sad because they have to leave their friends because they had 2 months more to live. So you have a lot of enjoyment moments. You have Sidbari trip, you have Himalayan retreat that you are going to have fun. That would be everlasting memory for you. And you'll make good friends, you'll enjoy this journey. Whatsoever the pressure be, whatsoever the expectations be, every single day you will turn up with something or the other. People would be there to motivate you, inspire you. Uh, if I share my experience, I would say my roommate has been a constant support and pillar for me. So she was there all through my experiences, my ups and downs. I can't thank enough. And yes, accordingly, it's for everybody.
So yes, I think, even though I'm not, I'm not a hostler, I'm a day scholar, but still, I'll just give you a situation like, let's suppose we all are partying in a hostel and suddenly mail pops up of A and B said like you have a pre-reads for tomorrow. I think, there should be a kind of thrill in the life. So yeah, that are the moments that makes the whole MBA journey very fruitful and rememberable. And we have certain, like Amigya mentioned about the Himalayan retreat and Silbari trip, that's gonna stay with you for the rest of your life. And these all are the memories that you don't cherish. And I think I'm so really gonna miss after 2 to 3 months. I think I'm really gonna miss everybody and all these moments. Yeah, they're really.
Absolutely. Okay, so you were a day scholar. That's interesting. Now, before we just go ahead, there's also a question which I know that both of you will answer. Arpitesh is asking: is it a 5 day class schedule or is it a 6 day? And I'm sure here you'll probably be like, oh God, if program office had it, then they'll probably make a Sunday also working for you, right?
Exactly.
So maybe could you just throw some light about the roster? How was the roster like? Were the first few terms rigorous? And I think towards the later part, you of course have a lot of flexibility, right? So just help us understand how does the academic calendar look like for, throughout for the life in the life of a PGPM student.
So I think like Arpitesh is asking whether it's a 5 day or 6 day. So I would like to mention one point that apart from the you know apart from the faculty that are with us full time, we have the faculty coming from the industry. So we have to think about that they are only free on a Saturday or a Sunday because they are already working, and this is a very good thing because they an industry leader or industry expert is teaching us alongside his working as well. So if we take that into consideration, we have sometimes like we have classes on Saturday because reason I told you. Otherwise, coming to the first few months, the schedule is really packed up because as you all know that we have to complete the 2 year course in 1 year, right? So we have two classes in a day, 3 hours each, and followed by 1 hour break and 2 15 minutes break. This is our whole day looks like. And coming to your question on Saturday, I already answered because we have leaders and we have the faculty coming from the industry. So that is why they are only available on a Saturday. So this is the reason why we sometimes we have classes on Saturday as well.
I love before Megya goes how Saksham, when he was saying Saturday is also working, his hand just went to his head. He's like, like, because he's also leading cultural societies. Obviously, people must be like, hey, please, bro, something can be done about Saturdays, right? We need that weekend, right? Megya, yeah, you
Exactly.
were saying something.
Council will be there for you each and every moment. You have any kind of request, you can make it through them. So yes, the when the semester starts, the first semester is tightly packed because you have a lot of subject, lot of general subject, and then after that, when you are divided into cohorts, like whichever major and minor you are going to choose, your classes will be scheduled accordingly, and then little bit of pressure is reduced. But initially, the first 3 months you will find very hectic. Reason being, number one would be that you are coming from your either professional world or from not so busy schedule. So you will find that rigorous. Secondly, the schedule is maintained in that way that you have to be little bit more on your toes. And again, when you are divided into cohorts, you will realize that the pressure is reduced. Then you will eventually prepare for your placements, for your SIP, NGO work that we are into it, and other activities and other cultural fests or activities which are there, seminars. So it would go along, but it is not that hectic. Now, when I have lived it, it's not that hectic. But yes, initially you would find it for a month to adjust.
And like, fortunately or unfortunately, you will have similar schedules when you start working as well. So might as well better be prepared from the very beginning. We're almost pushing ourselves towards the end. And what better way to actually answer this question by Rajat? Because I think this will make you both become very candid. Right. So what are some of the pros and cons of soil according to somebody who's studying? That is the both of you. Of course, Saksham, here you cannot mention ANB sir's midnight troubles. I remember in one webinar, a student was like, we have ANB sir gets this sadistic pleasure of giving assignments at 2 a.m. and expecting us to be, delivering it by 8. So, of course, that cannot be mentioned at all because that's how the work world will also be. Your managers will have those expectations from you as well. So, besides that, over to both of you with the pros and cons of your journey here at Soil before we, try to wrap this up.
I think coming to cons depends person to person, right? So if you consider a hectic schedule as a con, then yes, it's a con. If you consider working Saturday as a con, then yes, it's a con. But I think pros we have been speaking since last 1 hour. We have all spoken about the pros. I think yeah, coming to my perspective, I don't find any such con because we don't have time to think about those things, right? What are the cons? We are from May, first few months we adjust according to the curriculum. After that, we start preparing for the placements. So I didn't find any kind of con. But pros, I think we have to talk another hour to discuss about the pros of the college. Over to Amitya.
Okay, so cons would be for that person who is not punctual. Time bounded things, attending morning circle, to be on time, entering the lecture halls on time. That would be a cons part if you are not good at time management. Initially, I was not at all good, but with the process, I am now able to do it. So, when you start your journey, you will find, of course, cons everywhere. But through the process, you will feel so much assimilated that you will not be able to find cons and you will not even dare to find the cons because it's a family. Who finds cons in your family? Nobody. So that is the way it is.
By I think beautifully summed up. That's true. Like, if you have the appetite, or if you are a risk taker, if you really think that you can actually practically manage such hectic schedules, because that's how the program has actually been designed altogether, then certainly welcome. And being self-discipline is going to be like a mandatory thing. Before we wrap up, last few concluding remarks, because these are technically future management students. They'll of course be looking up to both of you as well, because I think both of you have had this beautiful, incredible journey all together. You took like I think taking a 1 year master's in management is always like the PGPM program. Like for instance, when we're talking about it, it's always a leap of faith that you're taking, because it's not the regular accredited 2 year programs altogether. But you've of course bartered the opportunity cost. You've of course taken into consideration that you get into working earlier. So of course, that decision well taken, and it paid off really well in both your cases. So of course, like kudos to both of you for handling the program so well. But any last minute thoughts that you'd like to give to the students, so that next year they also have an incredibly successful journey?
So throughout the process, once you are here, and I would say that if you have that curiosity, you will get a lot of opportunities over here. So yes, if you are here, believe in yourself and stick to the goals you have decided for yourself for this 1 year. Uh, And I would say the industry connects which you get over here through Anil sir is tremendously amazing. Like amazing. You name some corporate people who are at the topmost position, and he knows them and they are here. So that amount of industry connect and that much that inspiring journey which he has, you will have a lot of divergence over the period. So yes, the future managers would get ready over here and they will have all sort of academics as well as co-curricular activities like every college has. But I would say that the USP of soil says that you should be ethically correct in this world. So you should be grounded. That is what we are taught to be, and that is which is lacking in this world. The true self is lacking in this world. The grounded personalities are lacking in this world. So yes, you have to become a good business leader, but again, keeping yourself grounded with a lot of humility is what the world requires today. And so, my dear future leaders, I would request you, if your heart quenches for it, please join us.
Rightly said by Amiga, and I would like to add on to this. So few recommendations from my side. First would be, please take full advantage of the faculty, because they come with a vast and very, I think their experience could be considered as the cream experience, you said. So whether it is HR, whether it is marketing, whether it is analytics, I think they have worked in the industry, so they know. Please try to take the advantages of whatever knowledge they have. So even if I would urge that you go yourself and ask about, try to learn more things. So please take full advantage of the faculty. Second thing, what I have learned from this course, one of the most important things that, and I will never forget, is they have taught us that your classroom is your boardroom. Like how you behave in your classroom, it will reflect in your boardroom. So I think these are the two things that I would like to, recommend if anybody is joining here. So yeah, that's all from my side.
Absolutely. And I think the quotes were beautifully given by Saksham. Like he said, Rome was not built in a day, but definitely was destroyed in one. So just make sure that, you make optimum use of all the opportunities that are coming your way altogether. And of course, absolutely right, Amiga. You're true. Rather, Anil sir does this project also, like, the 20,000 connections that Anil sir is having on LinkedIn. Now, imagine if you reach out to every connection saying that you have a soil association, what kind of impact that creates already. That will make sure that out of the 20 connections that you're reaching out to, mentioning about your so-called soil lineage, that obviously creates that tremendous impact altogether, because they know that you're trained in certain, you're marinated in those ideas, ideologies overall, and you breathe and you live up. And of course the consortium partners and the way that they try to make sure that you're upkeeping your entire curriculum. Please feel free. I know that an hour is just not enough, and the questions will be pouring. Please feel free to reach out. Yes, Swarnim, there is an exchange program. We have programs like with the Shizuken University. So if you go right now on Anil sir's LinkedIn profile, sir was in Milan last week, and he was facilitating that only. And there are current classes going on the future of capitalism as well. And of course, like, please feel free to reach out to both of them on LinkedIn. They're very happy to help you out with any queries, questions that you may have overall. Thank you so much, Amikya. Thanks, Saksham. It was lovely knowing both of you even more, and hope to see you in person very soon at the PGPM campus. And thanks everyone for joining us. Thank you so much, Harsha and the team, for organizing the webinar so that students would be able to completely mitigate any questions or queries that they would be having regarding the program. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
ma'am.
much, ma'am.